Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Naba Frildo. If you've already been following the series, thank you so much, and welcome back. I promised in the last video that I would do a new video using the same concepts that we've been using in the last few episodes to roll over from maybe what we learned in top lane to maybe ADC. Now, if you're new here, basically the series is designed in a way to get people out of the bronze mindset, and you have to get out of that mindset before you can actually get out of bronze. And it correlates with each other. So essentially, um, the idea is that so far we have decided that we're going to start being selfish. We're going to stop helping the team, essentially, because if they're going to suck or lose or cause issues to begin with, then in order to carry yourself, you have to do things for yourself and by yourself. If you want an objective for any reason, you have to go take it. You have to go get it. If you want Dragon and your team's not getting it, then go get it. Or, we've also learned that sometimes just pushing your lane creates enough pressure on the other team that they have to come and try and deal with you. And our entire goal is to move what we have learned over the last 3 or 4 episodes and really apply it to our ADC. And I was going to, I didn't want to go into like a whole bunch of new runes, but then I felt like, why not? We're switching up the lane completely, so we'll go in and we'll talk about some of these runes and why they're useful in any given situation. And so, without further ado, I will bring us into our current rune setup. Now, I wrote Jinx here, but in actuality, this could be, ADC, because this can really kind of work with anybody. And what I want to like point out here is a lot of times people will use uh, just something they looked up on the internet and they don't have a reasoning for it. And one of the things I was talking about in the last episode was if you choose a rune, have a reason for it. Don't just pick something because 50% of the players are using it. Well, there are more than 50% of people that are in bronze or lower. I mean, do you want to go with what you see on a website, or do you want to actually have a thought process behind your runes? And so, basically, every time we do one of these videos, I'm going to have my rune page up, and then we're going to discuss why I'm going to use any particular runes at any given time. So, for this case, since we are essentially doing things for ourselves, instead of, basically like just looking for team fights, because this game is not about kills. This game is about working on objectives, right? Getting the objectives done, pushing your lanes. One of the biggest problems I notice in bronze is people don't push lanes. They're always looking for a fight. Okay, they're always looking for some way to fight the enemy, but and just like go for kills, right? But then sometimes they can actually screw you. Sometimes the enemy is actually better at team fights, and you have to understand that the game is not only team fights. The game is not how many kills you have, or how many kills they have, or how many deaths you have, or even how much CS you have. The game has nothing to do with that. This game is a game of objectives. Okay? So we need to get out of that mentality that, you know, everything, is based on how well we do in a team fight, because that's not how you win the game. You win the game by taking the enemy player's nexus, and the only way to do that is to kill towers. Okay? You have 3 lane towers that you have to go through, an inhibitor, and then 2 more nexus towers. Okay? So in total, that's 5 towers and an inhibitor just to get to the nexus. Everybody says, "Oh, we need, why aren't you in the team fight? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that?" Well, if you're actually the one going for objectives, then you really shouldn't be listening to them, because everybody should be trying to get objectives. Team fights happen, and should only happen when you're trying to get a particular objective, say Baron or Dragon, okay? But otherwise, you should be trying to push your lane. If another lane is struggling, let them play defense while you take your lane. And the thing is ideally that would work. Um, a lot of times you'll have people that just suck, right? Like, for example, let's say an ADC and support get ganked by the enemy jungler. Now it's 3v2. They might panic and then end up feeding 2 kills because they think they have to fight the fight. No, like the reality is you need to run away because math will win. So let's get into the runes. I don't want to preach too much about that. Again, if you've been watching the last few videos, you probably have heard me say it a million times already. So that's for the new people. But let's go into Dark Harvest. Damaging a champion below 50% health deals adaptive damage and harvests their soul, permanently increasing Dark Harvest damage by 5. Dark Harvest damage is 20 to 60 based on level, plus 5 damage per soul, plus 0.25 bonus AD. So, with that in mind, it doesn't say anywhere here that you have a limit on souls. So, that means that potentially this is kind of like almost like a Nasus stack, right? Like it helps you continuously gain damage throughout the game, no matter what happens. Whether we, get out CS'd or for some reason we lose our fight, we're still doing something in the game that helps us progress. Now, this is not like the top lane where it's easy to just go and take towers and then we can pick a rune, say uh, Demolish in the Resolve, and try to take down turrets, because as an ADC, we're not trying to gain as much health as we can. We're trying to gain as much damage as we can, which is why they call it attack damage carry. Okay, um, that's what it stands for. So we're trying to get as much damage as we can. So if that's the case, we also want to go with cheap shot, because it says damaging champions with impaired movement or actions deals 80 to 40 bonus true damage based on level. Um, in a lot of cases, I'm going to probably pick an ADC that has some sort of CC, which most of them do. Um, for example, Jinx, she'll have her traps. Caitlyn has traps. Miss Fortune has her where she shoots it in the air and it slows people. I forget what it's called. Um, but Draven can throw out his axes and it'll knock him out of place, sort of. But essentially, I'm usually looking for some way to make this cheap shot happen frequently, because its cooldown is only 4 seconds. There are cases where you don't have that so much, like I don't know. I can't think of any at the moment, probably because I'm busy talking. Like, for example, with Jhin, it's not going to happen so much because most of the time people are going to know where your traps are set, and they know that Jhin is going to stun them pretty much right away. And like if you walk over the trap, you're already slowed. Plus, you can get stunned when he shoots his W at you. So people tend to like avoid that, and they also tend to avoid being shot by his W in the first place. At least people who are good enough to dodge. So it's not going to happen as much for Jin, right? Because you have to actively force that to happen. Um, but this good thing about this cheap shot is it works whether you do it or somebody else does it. Okay, so if the enemy champion is impaired in some way, then cheap shot works. So it's always good to do true damage because true damage avoids all resistances. So we're also going to do eyeball collection. Collect eyeballs for champion takedowns. Gain an adaptive bonus of 1.2 attack damage per eyeball collected. Upon completing your collection at 10 eyeballs, additionally gain an adaptive bonus of 6 attack damage. And then, of course, for mages, it would be ability power. So basically, you get an eyeball for every champion takedown. Now, a takedown does not mean kill. Okay? A takedown means you're fighting somebody and they died. Okay? So even if you get an assist, it's fine. As long as the champion was taken down, you will get an eyeball. So this is very easy to get. It's not like this is impossible. You could be a 0, 0, and 10 ADC and still have this. So that's why you want this because essentially your job will be to get kills, and hopefully you do. But even if you somehow didn't get the kill, you're still going to get your eyeball, and that's always a good thing, right? Ultimate Hunter. Your ultimate gains 5% reduced cooldown plus an additional 3% per bounty hunter stack. Now, a bounty hunter stack is you can get 5 bounty hunter stacks in a game when you're using the domination rune. And what that essentially means is for each enemy champion, unique champion that you kill, you're going to get a bounty hunter stack. So one for the ADC, one for the support, one for the mid lane, one for the jungle, and one for the top lane, right? So as long as if you get that person taken down, you will gain a bounty hunter stack, which ultimately provides you a bonus. In this case, uh, we will have our ultimate cooldown reduction, which is always nice to have our ultimate up whenever we need it, right? So that's why we're using that. Now we're gonna jump in a little bit of precision here. Um, with precision, you're gonna get a lot more of the kind of like nitty gritty, cutthroat type things. And the first little, I guess you can say rune off of this rune. I don't know. I don't know what these sub runes are called, but you gain Legend Alacrity. Gain 3% attack speed plus an additional 1.5% for every legend stack. So you can get 10 stacks. Earn progress towards these stacks for every champion takedown, epic monster takedown, large monster kill, and minion kill. So you're all as an ADC, you should be last hitting minions in most cases, anyways. Large monster kills. I mean, a lot of times you'll be avoiding those, but if you just happen to be finding yourself taking maybe red or blue buff or something, that's going to help be useful. But epic monster takedown means, let's say Baron or Dragon, all you have to do is be involved in the fight, okay? And then also champion takedowns. So we're basically looking to get as much attack speed for our ADC as we possibly can, based on mostly takedowns and last hitting our minions, okay? Now, I'm going to choose cut down, and I want to go over this coup de grace real quick, okay? Coup de grace deals 7% more damage to champions who have less than 40% health. Additionally, takedowns on champions grant an adaptive bonus of 9 attack damage or 15 ability power for 10 seconds. This is nice for situations where you're not going to have like super tanky teams, right? But what you have to be concerned about when you do this is like if you're not playing a character like Varus or Vayne, who naturally deal extra damage to those characters, um, you you have to consider that you might actually be hurting yourself by choosing this because all you're doing is increasing your damage out like by like your actual damage, right? Like 7% damage and they have to be less than 40% health. So let's say you're going against somebody like a Mundo and you can't get him you just can't get him below 40% health because he's just, maybe his ult's too strong or maybe he's fed or something like that and you're finding yourself in a fight against a character you can't win, right? But when you have cut down, let me just go into this. Deal 5% to 15% more damage to champions based on how much more max health they have than you. Bonus damage scales up linearly against enemies with 10% to 100% more max health than you. So now, if we're going against somebody like Mundo, we'll actually do 15% more damage to the champion. And there is no amount to how much health they have. There's no condition to how much health they have before this kicks into effect. It just means that this will happen when this happens. Okay? So if they have more health than you do more damage than them to them. Plus, the minimum is 5%. It's not much different than 7%, right? So a lot of times you see that people pick this coup de grace, and it has its place, especially with the adaptive damage. But I personally want to make sure that if we do go against a tanky team, I want to be able to handle that tanky team, especially if they're trying to guard a turret that I'm trying to get. So that is my reasoning for pulling cut down instead of coup de grace. But there are people who might say that the other one is better, and I think it's more what it really boils down to is more of preference. I prefer to be able to take down tanks a lot easier, so that's what this is for. But with our extra little things here, we'll give ourselves some extra adaptive force, and obviously we want a little bit more health, just so that we can have a little more sustainability. Doesn't make sense to get armor or magic resistance for an ADC. But health it does make sense. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna save this and try to get ourselves into a game. So I'll pick my bot lane, have mid as my secondary. All right. Couldn't find the. I was like, where's the button? Got my face up, guys. Now you can see me. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I was just do some camera tricks and be like, now you see me, now you don't, but it's pointless now. All right, so let's get our. I'm gonna pick Jinx because one thing I like about Jinx, that like of the thing that we're trying to do, right? Like we have a plan before we get into the game, right? We know what we're gonna try to do. We know that we're going to just try to take objectives and push our lane the entire game, just to see if it works. If it's the same thing for ADC as it was for top. There is a condition that I want to change though, something that is different between ADC and top. With ADC, you have a support, and with that comes some needing to play with another player type of play. They are constantly doing things that will either help you or hurt you, sadly. But let's say for example you have a Leona. She has to go in. She's gonna stun. You have to be able to react to stuff like that. So essentially, instead of being completely selfish, I not only have to try to do the objectives, but I also have to make sure that I don't just let my support die, right? Now, they need to be smart enough to not get themselves killed, but I don't want them to just die either, okay? Um, so I'm gonna
Rules are made to be
help
broken.
my support, essentially.
Oblivious. Hurt
And
people.
Dragon is also another team fighty type of scenario. So I have to play in such a way that um, if we're going to get Dragon, then I'm gonna help my team. But those are the only two conditions I'm changing. Everything else, I'm still sticking to my lane. I'm still pushing it. I'm gonna make sure my objective gets done, and I'm gonna go all the way to the Nexus if I have to. But in the event that there's a team fight near Dragon or coming to my lane or I have to help in this case Vagar, because they're making some kind of move, then that's that's okay. But other than that, we are still sticking to our guns and we're simply just doing our own thing. So hopefully this turns out well for us. Hopefully the splash screen comes up soon. Oh, there it is. So we're going against Vayne, which is strange. It's strange that she would pick that because we don't really have any tanks on our team. I mean, these two can be sort of bruisey, but we don't really essentially have tanks. And I feel like Vayne is kind of like one of those like, okay, we're going against tanks, I'm picking Vayne kind of situations. Also, she has a lot less range than Jinx does. So it's strange that she would do that. But Xerath, I guess, as a support, which it looks like he's supporting with Ignite. Um, he's got range, but I don't know how good that's gonna be for them, truthfully. And so like that's what I'm saying. Like when you're playing your games and you go in and you decide, you have strategy, you're gonna do something. Like if you really want out of bronze, play characters that are gonna win you the game. Like is Xerath really the best support pick? Is Vayne really that good if you're going against just regular squishies? Because her W does a percentage of health, maximum health. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's good. It's good to kill tanks, and yeah, you can kill other players with it just fine.
Welcome to Summoner's
But
Rift.
you're sacrificing a lot of range just to be able to do that. And if you go against, a Jinx and a Vagar, for example, how much damage are you really gonna
30
do to them?
seconds until minions spawn.
So I like to get my W first because it does a lot of damage, and it slows people. Plus, look at the range on that. So, you know, there's multiple reasons why you get the W first.
Ask me if I'm
I
listening.
see a lot of people getting Q
Hint,
first
I'm
because
not.
they like that, attack speed and range if they switch it up. But like, it costs too much mana and
Minions have
too much,
spawned.
too much work for me, in my opinion. So I'm more of the
trying
W
here.
guy.
Just can't.
Oh, better slash mute all. Slash mute all so you can try while the noobs cry. Because let's be honest, bronze, there's so much toxicity, like, it'll bring you down. It'll make you stop wanting to try, like, it's just not worth it. I mean, I try to avoid, like, anything that's gonna bring me down or change my thought process or make me strategize differently. Just get it out. Get it out of the way. Like, I'm sure, once we reach, like, gold or something, we'll have a better opportunity to, like, communicate with our team, or maybe they'll care more. to be able to like communicate with teammates. Like if you have players to play with, they can be like, oh, I'm gonna stun her, and then you can react. But when you're in solo queue, you can't just like do things without thinking about consequences, right? You have to think about like, if I do this, can they react, or you know, whatnot.
First blood.
Now Vayne pushed my lane so hard that like, I mean, I actually don't mind
Whatever,
because
let's just start shooting.
what's she gonna do right now? Man, I mean, if I could actually hit the minions, it might be a good thing, but shoot. But she's so far behind. She's gonna be super far behind in farm now.
Duck! Just kidding,
I
that
missed
won't
that big
help.
minion because I was using characters. I wish this little spot bush was warded. Like, it makes me uneasy not being able to see him there.
Any last words?
And again, as you saw in my last ADC video, which I think was episode 4, I don't play ADC like all the time. Like and it's crazy because it's probably one of my best roles.
An enemy has
Like
been slain.
as far as like my ability to like handle things, and I think that it's one of my best roles because I understand the core concepts of the game that make it so like, what do you want, dude? Why are you even here in the river to begin with? I guess he's just
Hold on.
focused on scuttle crabs or something.
Cool.
But I do really well with ADCs, but it's mostly because, you know, I'm capable of understanding what like enemy abilities are, and like how to react, or what's important to get, like dragon, for
Did
example.
that on purpose.
But my last hitting with ADC just sucks. I'm even worse at mid. Unless I have Zed, it basically will hurt anything with extra low health. So or he does extra damage for things with low health. So you know that helps a bit too. But other than that, my last two skills suck with these characters because I'm used to like melee attacking. Melee typically does a little bit more damage. That was really good. It took a bunch of damage.
An enemy has been slain.
Can't get that one. That's fine. Let's see. And that didn't help you in
Let's
farm.
just save.
So, I mean, it just never it never ceases to amaze me like how hard people push their lane just because they want to prove like that's how good I am. I can push it. I can push the lane into you. Like actually, that's doing bad. Like if our jungle ganked right now, she'd be screwed because she doesn't have her support with her. Oh, I guess she does. That was wrong. But I mean, what have they accomplished? Absolutely nothing.
Seriously, screaming help.
I mean, it's fine, but like you're there. Like I don't know. I just wish our jungle would gank because look how far they're pushed up. Like they're in such a bad spot. Oh, he is ganking. Yeah, wait until I'm stronger. Wait until I'm stronger. But see, that was a good gank because she was pushed past River.
You're my favorite.
There's
waste
nothing she
of
could do
time.
because she's way too overly aggressive. I'm gonna go back because look, I have my BF sword, and that's what you want. That's you. As soon as you can buy a BF sword, you go back, you buy it, and you come back to lane. I'm not behind in farms, so I'm fine. I'm gonna get one of these.
Wait, I'm thinking. How do people do this?
You know what? I just remembered something. In my last video, the sound was too high, and I completely forgot to lower it, and I apologize for that. As a matter of fact, like, I'm just gonna leave it on this setting for the rest of my life because sometimes, like, I'll play like ARAMs or I'll, you know, play with some of my friends that are in bronze on this account or something. And at some point, I turned it back up, and I'm sorry that the sound was off, but we should be okay now. I just turned it down, so you should be able to hear me now, hopefully. See, the way she's moving, it just like, what the freaking A, man.
You're starting to bore me.
See, and I'm one of those players that don't like to get beat, right? So like, even if, like, it's possible that I could run into a Smurf in a game just like me, you know? Like, and I don't want, like, to get caught off guard, you know? Thinking, oh, this person's, you know, bronze, and then I make a mistake because of it, which I do sometimes. See, and then, like, he was way overextended. There's no reason for him to be. Yep. That's why you don't take turret damage. I was, for some reason, I don't know why, I thought Xerath was gonna ult, like, I don't even know if he can yet, but I'll check here in a second. Actually, I'll check now. No, he's able to. Maybe he cast it and, like, accidentally let it go or something. But, like, you know, Veigar was caught out of guard. He didn't need to be that far up, you know? Like, he's looking to create opportunities instead of waiting for them to happen, right? And I know why he picked Veigar, because secretly he wants to carry. He's not trying to support me. He's trying to find ways and see how much damage he does, and, like, I know, trust me, I know. But, you know, all I can do is myself, right? I can't control what he does. I can't control what anybody on the entire field does. All I can do is take care of myself. And hopefully that means that I'll get a win out of it. See? I don't know what the heck is going on here. But I don't want to, like, I'm behind minions. He's just casting his E whenever he feels like it. He's not thinking objectively about when is it good to do so, you know? Like, have they made any mistakes? Do you want to catch them while they're out of guard? Maybe they want, like, having an ability, for example, just having not used it creates a scenario in where they are afraid to fight you for whatever reason, right? I probably could have used that heal to save save Vagar, but he keeps getting caught out. And yeah, honestly, the reason I used it right there is because I was going to use it as running speed because I thought she was going to flash, or he was going to flash. And so I was just like, here's some movement speed so you can catch up. But they're out of lane, so I'm leaving lane. And as long as I get ahead, like if I don't care what Vagar's score is, you know, like what I do care about is how well I do, right? Like I don't want, like to me it's embarrassing to get my butt kicked, right? Which is why I try not to die. Now, in a lot of cases, you know, you can die and still win the game because you're doing the objectives. But like if it doesn't make sense to die, like Vagar doesn't care if he dies. In his mind, he's thinking, as long as I get my ADC fed. He's not thinking, as long as I don't feed the enemy, right? So we're 2 and 2 bot. Like he's not thinking about it as a pair, which is making things a little more difficult than they need to be. I mean, I really would have liked to have had that kill since Vagar's feeding, but okay. Trying to take my farm. This guy, man. But that's okay. I mean, you know, I know why you're trying to do it. I knew that was your goal ever since you picked him. But what can I control, right? I can't control him. I can't control nobody. I can control myself. So I'm going to do what I have to do. Get the dragon, which was one of our conditions. It's okay to team fight for dragon.
Has been destroyed.
Now I can complete my Infinity Edge, and I know he wants to farm like mad, so I'm actually just gonna let him farm. Because I know he wants it, and I can get my Infinity Edge, which is gonna kind of give me an edge. So that's what I'm doing.
I'm trying to care.
Because having Vagar with some stacks at the end of the game is not really a bad thing either. So. But see, if he had his E up, they wouldn't have made that little push right there, right? So like, sometimes when you have your abilities, you have to think about like, what's the opponent thinking about because I haven't used it? Am I gonna do something because, you know, they might have that ability or they might use it against me? Like, if Vagar thought objectively about how strong his ability is simply because he didn't use it, you know, he might actually do better, right? Well, see, I thought Xerath might be there to stun me.
An enemy has been slain. Enemy killing spree. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Pow!
An enemy has been
Nice.
slain.
That's why I wanted that Infinity Edge. That's why, right there. I love it when things work out just because you plan ahead. Like, you can't go wrong. Why do you think we make these plans before we even play the game? Like, I'm not the better ADC as far as farming. Like, she can farm way better than I can. She knows what she's doing, right? She plays ADC all the time, probably. Hell, she probably even plays Vayne all the time. But just because I can't last hit doesn't mean I can't do what I'm supposed to do. I mean, at least know the basics, right? And then do your best. But don't screw up. Don't fuck up. Like, that's the important part. Oh, shit. nothing I could do, but he saved my life. That time he actually saved my life. Good thing I had a support here. That's all I can say. Get off my turret. And I have no mana. Like almost no health. Full on gank.
Enemy rampage.
Get that.
I really need
I'm actually gonna be after that. Let Veigar have what he can. I need to buy something. Losing top. See, he's pushing his lane. I don't even know what his score is. 4-2. But he's pushing his lane. Like that's all it takes sometimes. Just push and you might win. You might just win the game because you're pushing a lane.
Let's just
Like nobody's stopping him. He's got 2 turrets. Nobody's stopping him yet. Like, you know, he's doing good. Maybe he saw my video.
Shut down.
So he's 4-3 with 0 assists, but he's got 151 farm because he's pushing his lane and he's got
An ally has been
2
slain.
turrets.
Rampage.
Boom. I don't want to push this knowing Rammus is right here somewhere. And my support's dead, so...
An enemy has been slain.
or live. I'm thinking.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain.
Damn it. I took way too much damage there, and I knew he was there, and I didn't back up like an idiot.
An ally has been slain.
I need to get lifesteal. Okay. I guess we can stay in lane a little longer. Double heals.
Where was
Rampage.
Man, if I hit Xerath with my W one more time, dude, I might be able to ult him again. Can help with this, because I don't think I'm going to lose the tower yet. And the dragon is a mountain dragon, which helps us gain towers ourselves.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your turret has
Yasuo's gonna single-handedly carry this game at 6 kills.
An ally has been slain.
Alright, let's get some lifesteal. A little more crit. I'm gonna help mid because if I don't, it's gonna be gone. And as much as I want to push my lane, we just got it, and this is the one that needs help right now.
I'm trying to shoot you.
Try to steal this. Oh, they wouldn't let me have it because apparently I don't need mana. Oh, jeez. I mean, I'm gonna run if, like, I don't know. I'm gonna run away, obviously. Try not to be inside the circle. I'm not gonna just run back and go for... I don't know, maybe I should have. I was gonna die anyway, right?
Shut down.
I'm so close, yet so far from getting Phantom Dancer.
I'm crazy.
Try that.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Okay, so they're all there.
I don't even think once about blowing stuff up.
They're trying to put focus on Dragon, probably. Which I'm moving this way because I want to put a ward in here. But if they catch her... Nice. Now Dragon's in 30 seconds and there's a guy pushing mid, so... You know, sometimes you gotta do things yourself. Protect your own objectives. Attack your own objectives.
Ask me if I'm listening.
Fizz is probably backing up. So I'm just gonna sit here just in case. Yep, and he does see me. But like, nobody came back with me, right? Like that's what I have no idea like that people don't see the same things. Like I figured he'd probably come that way, but like I had no backup when I decided to run away. Like, it's a little frustrating. So I went 6-0. Now I'm 0-2 since then because of Fizz and Fizz alone. Because like people like you'd think that like if somebody's getting ahead like 11-7, you'd want to do something about him, right? You'd want to either Kill him when you see him, especially if he's pushing a lane alone,
Find air.
right? He should be an easy kill. Everybody should have been running towards him. Pressing B, taking your 8 seconds to go back, and then like walking your happy ass back to the lane is not fast enough. Just start running, you know? Like, it's different if you're like here and you need to get to here, right? That's across the map. But like, you know, this distance, you can run there a lot faster than if you press B and run back to lane. Payback. Alright, well, that's okay. We'll trade that tower there. Because hopefully Wukong can handle Xerath by the time he even tries to get an hit. So this is almost worth it. I'm gonna go get Dragon.
I'm wearing lots of hats.
What are you doing? Feeding? He's feeding. He's legit inting now. That's why you mute people, because you can get like that guy is gonna start feeding and losing the game. Even though I'm sitting here panicking, like, oh my gosh, we're losing all these things. Players like that are the reason you lose bronze games. Like, and Riot doesn't care. Riot's not gonna do anything. Matter of fact, this video is gonna be on the internet, and everybody's gonna see his name is Dank Saucier. And you know what? Nobody's gonna even ban him. You're gonna see him in your game, and I feel bad for you when you do, because Riot is the problem. He's never gonna learn from his mistakes because Riot's not gonna ban him. Riot's not gonna stop him from doing that. And even though he's on the enemy team, and that gives me confidence of winning, that doesn't mean that it's a satisfying win now, because now it doesn't feel like I tried. Like, you know, I didn't carry because he just gave up. Like, you should be able to like have a legit like if you're gonna play ranked, go in there and do your best, right? I'm trying to get my objective now, so that's why I'm at my turret. Even though I'm alone, nobody came with me, nobody's helping. I'm still doing what I have to do. But my team is actually doing a good job at like helping and stuff. Fizz is trying to come kill me because Fizz can kill me. But the only reason I'm in the jungle right now is I'm trying to get them out of that lane because I want to go back and push it, but Fizz keeps hanging around there, so...
Easy. Got it, Dr.
Got him.
Shut down.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
An enemy has
If
been
they don't
slain.
kill Fizz, this fight's gonna go south
An
real
ally
quick.
has been slain.
But Mord's pushing top, which is good. Taking an objective where he can. He's falling back to defend, that's good. That's what you should do.
Jinx?
Doesn't look like anybody's coming after me. so far. They have to go defend their own base. I'll take another turret. I accidentally clicked on my freaking mini-map. Oh, you're still coming after me. I knew I was going to lose that fight too. Wow. Man, it's like I'm playing better people today or something. That's weird. I mean, I'm 9-3. I guess you could say I'm doing good, but I feel like this is tough. Tough game.
Enemy
I'm just
killing
trying to push my lane like most of the time. Like I'm not helping my team too much. I mean, I came towards mid, I guess, to force Fizz to fall off of it. You know, like I don't really want them in my base at least. So like I gotta do what I gotta do, like to prevent myself from losing. But if I can, I'm gonna push my lane. I'm gonna push it all the way to the Nexus if I can. But maybe it's still pulling enough pressure. You know, like they're all up by Baron playing around. Maybe I'll get far enough this time and do something. You know, Dragon's up in 30
enemy
seconds.
rampage.
Maybe I'll get that. But if they all die right here, we lose. They're gonna get Baron and we lose, and there's nothing I can do about it. At least it's gonna be an Inferno Drake, so that'll help me in damage for sure. So let me just try to pick it up. They might even be trying to come get it. They're probably even getting Baron. Who knows? Yeah, so they got Baron, but I'm gonna push my objective because
Shut down.
if they go to a lane, which they might. Gosh dang it. I don't
An
know, man.
enemy has been slain.
I mean, this 17 kills, like, I should be able to kill Fizz by now, like, especially with having 9 kills myself, like, the struggle is real, like, people don't mind feeding though, that's the problem, and that's how people get 17 kills in a game. And he's gonna go in by himself. Like, what are you doing? Like, you don't care that everybody just died? Like, back up, dude. Like, every time he sees me, he tries to ult me. And, which is the smart thing to do. You know, the whole team is chasing one person. Like, if you're not going to catch him, you're not going to catch him. Like, now we have to play defense. He still has Baron. He's gonna get away. He still has Baron. Like, just regroup.
An enemy is dominating.
You think I'm crazy? You should
And you know, I want to push this bot lane, but because Fizz
Shut down.
is so strong,
Enemy
I can't even
double
push
kill.
it. Like, by the time I reach the base, he's already there to ult me and kill me. You know?
Your team has destroyed a turret.
I don't even think once about blowing stuff.
Yeah, of course you want me to defend mid. Go defend your own mid. I'm gonna put pressure up here. I'm gonna pull them away. They don't have Baron for much longer. I don't want them to keep it up. I don't want them to use it all the way to our base. Like, just walk up and use the minions that are already there.
I have the best intentions.
I feel bad for Bratzies, man.
Ally has been slain.
They have somebody that's inting and they're still
double
like
kill.
they're still winning because like people on our team are feeding like crazy too. Like Vagar, 3 and 10 Mordekaiser. Like,
I'm listening.
I don't care if I die. Who cares? You know? Who cares?
You're starting.
Try to take Fizz out of the fight because he's so fed, but you know Yasuo's fed too. Like, have a support trying to carry, screwing people from the beginning of the game. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I can win this game, guys. I don't think I'm good enough. It's unfortunate. I mean, he's not even positive if you count his assists too. Like, what the heck, man? What have you been doing all game?
I'm trying to care.
Guaranteed they're gonna go for Baron now. Like, because what are we gonna do? We're gonna be defending right now because they're pushing lanes. Like, at least mine's way up here. Like, they're still like that just spawned, and nobody's even making a movement towards it
Who needs reason?
because we gotta defend. Because everybody chose to die and let them take stuff instead of just playing defensively and make them move slowly. You know? Of course you smoked that, because
Your inhibitor
why not
has
smite that?
been
Fucking idiot. I just don't understand idiots. You know, like, he smoked blue because he didn't want me to fucking take it. And he doesn't even need it anymore. Like, it'd be nice if I had some cooldowns. Yeah, I'm fucking dead. Wow, he misclicked and I benefited. But you know what? They're gonna get Baron.
I'm aware it is not.
You know what? Can I solo Baron? I wonder.
An enemy has been slain.
why you do things yourself.
Really cool.
Because your teammates won't do it for you. They don't care. You know?
I really need a
This
new
game
gun.
has actually got me tilted.
Don't tell my other guns.
I mean, you can't carry every bronze game, you know? Like, some people are just bad, man. Like, they just don't know how to do anything. Like, I can't... Like, I want to push my lane, but I can't because... Every time I do, my entire team dies. They don't play defensively. They just die. They just, like... Oh, Jinx is pushing? That must mean that it's time for us to go and die to the enemy team. You know? It bothers me.
I'm crazy.
Double kill. An enemy has been slain.
Oh.
An
Ooh.
ally has been
I could
slain.
single-handedly win this game right now.
Wait, I'm thinking.
Killing spree. Shut down. Ace. Your team has destroyed.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah! Yes! I'm a god. Give that slash dance. And with that, we have a victory. Whew. Man, that was... Ooh, that was so rough. That was so rough. I didn't think I was good enough, but... Man, that was it. Baron. Solo Baron with the victory. Oh, man. Not going to give it to Veigar. Mordekaiser fed. Wukong was around the map. He was a team player, so... Wow. Wow. I guess it still works, you know? Just be selfish, do what you gotta do, forget about what the team is doing, and, you know? If you think an objective needs to be taken, take it. Man, I don't know. Something to be said for that, guys. Good thing I slash muted all, you know? Because you should slash mute all. So you keep trying while the noobs are crying. Nah, but for real though, have a great day.